And Season 2 of Street Fighter 6 has finally arrived, and as expected, Manon has received some buffs. Now, are they more or less than she needs? That'll take some time to know for sure, but in this video we're going to go over all of the changes that they list in the patch notes they finally gave us a few hours late. But before we do that, I'm just going to talk about the general changes, because on their own they can be kind of confusing. So, some of the key changes are that now she can link together her lights a bit more easily. Usually this crouching light kick of hers was pretty annoying because it pushed the opponent quite far away, but now she can even do stuff like this, pretty similar to Jury, where you can do a 3-hitting string and end in your standing light punch, and standing light punch is really good because none of your other buttons will link into your down back kicks, like this or this. But now, if you can go into the standing one, then we can get this nice knockdown, or this more damaging and corner carrying one. And you can get any combination and they just connect together really easily. You can even get 4 crouching light kicks in a row, so they really buffed that. Another big one is the fact that back heavy punch can now lead into your OD spin kick. So now this is her new basic BNB. And this will kind of change the weighting, of what moves you choose to go for, because back heavy punch also became stronger on its own in several ways. Now it is quite useful in a lot of situations because it's also plus on block now. And it leaves you at a nice distance where most characters' crouching buttons won't connect against you. So you can do some interesting staggers on this. It's only +1, but you can enforce some strike throw, and having a plus on block button is something she desperately would have liked, and now she has that. So now whenever we have advantage, maybe we're going for an attack on Oki, or after a jump in, going for back heavy punch is a lot better of an option in a lot of situations, because it's got a lot of active frames, it's good on block because it's plus, it's good on hit because it leads to this new, very damaging, less expensive combo route. It's just a very useful move that we'll be using more now. A small change that I think is a pretty big deal is the slight adjustments to crouch medium kick, because now it kind of creates this really amazing Oki situation she can get off of simple knockdowns like this. So this is just, completely meaty, the opponent can't interrupt that, and you're left very plus on block and on hit. And it leaves you close enough now to now go into this new route. So it's a cool way of going into this new combo and everything's blending together really nicely. And finally, there are a bunch of changes, but the last big change is that the more metal she has, the more damage her level 3 super will do. And I believe it adds 100 damage per medal. No, 500 damage, my bad. So if you have 5 medals at the end of the game, not only will your throws do a ton of damage, also your super is going to be even better for cashing out. Right, so now let's make our way through the actual changes themselves so we don't mix anything. And that being said, I am going to skip the first few because it's just about the modern style combos and some bug fixes. The first one is an actual kind of relevant change, is standing medium punch into its target combo. They adjusted the kind of cancel window, it seems, where they changed it from the 7th to 13th frame to the 11th to 13th frame. So it appears to come out later. If it is still 13 is the maximum, they didn't make it easier to hit confirm, they just changed the appearance of it, which is kind of strange. Standing medium kick has less pushback on hit, which is interesting. Perhaps that means that if you're really trying to space it out and then go into something like this, it's not gonna whiff. I'm not too sure if that happened a lot in the past, but now I guess stuff like this may be a little bit more consistent. Standing heavy kick, no actual changes to the moves, but there's a lot of changes in this patch to input buffers. So now if you press something within 8 frames of the move's recovery, it is just easier to buffer things afterwards, which is kind of weird because it's not very advantageous. It's -2 on hit. So you're not really want to try and buffer things too much, you're kind of wanting to back off and block, but whatever. Crouching light punch is now +3 on hit rather than +2, so just slightly more advantageous. Once again, I'm not really sure what that means, except for now you can, except for the fact that maybe now if you do some pokes, going into a grab afterwards, it's just that little bit more consistent, depending on how many pokes you do. And if you just do one, then you're close enough. you get the fast one. Crouching medium punch, they just made it so it was easier for the opponent to, like, whiff punish her when she whiffs this, so no changes to her. Crouching light kick, apparently they adjusted the hitbox so it doesn't hit, like, higher up opponents, but they also reduced the pushback, which is actually a really noticeable one, because as I showed, you can now link 4 of these together, or really easily link together your lights in a really useful way. So this is a change I actually really like, because going for a crouching low as your poke after things like your standing heavy target combo is really good, because the opponent is trying to walk away or do something to get out of the way of your target combo, or perhaps even if you're doing stuff like this and they're trying to get out of here, having this to catch their toes, and now even at a lot of distances you're going to be able to do stuff like this a lot more easily and just link multiple together. That's really useful. And similar to crouching light punch, crouching medium kick is now +3 up from +2, and it also has less pushback on hit, which is why when we do stuff like this, we are now close enough to go for a back heavy punch. Now the down forward, diagonally down forward kick, didn't get much changes except for the fact that now it can just hit in longer combos basically. They changed the upper counter combo limit, or whatever they call it. So now if we do combos like this, whoops. It's now going to link, even though by that point in a combo, a lot of special moves wouldn't connect. This one will, because it has a really high ability to juggle now, basically. The back medium kick target combo got a few changes, but they're mostly just subtle changes to how it works on hit. So the pushback of the first attack is slightly reduced. Maybe it would whiff the second hit in some situations, and also when the opponent is in the air. You see they do that little bit of a bounce on the ground, kind of similar to Juri's new back heavy kick as well. And that means you can get things like this. Whoops. For some interesting new pickups. And this also happens to be a great knockdown that leads to the perfect timing for a safe jump. So if you are wanting to be a bit more rushdowny and you're scared of the opponent's DPs mixing up in their DPs, well, you can just end your combos early by going for this target combo, and then boom, you've got an easy safe jump if you don't mess it up like I will. Voila. Now, back heavy punch, it had its pushback on hit reduced slightly, so you can see you're left very close to the opponent, so maybe going for cheeky things like this in the middle of your combos, you know how we go for stuff like this sometimes. Maybe just works a little bit better because we're left quite closely. We can go for the quick command grab, but the biggest change is that it's now from -3 to +1 on block. So now when we get in blocking, we are at an interesting advantage. And not only does this mean, like, cool on its own, it can be used as a pressure tool, like, you know, you go for strike or throw, maybe you can catch him with a poke or beat him out with one of your mediums or something. This also means that the stuff that we already used this for, to become plus, like these kind of setups, are now just going to become even more plus, and she can get some very, very high plus frames from a lot of situations. Like this setup as well, now you can get easy +6s from most of your knockdowns thanks to this. And +6 means that you can like jail or trade with like a slow move like your back medium kick and then get a trade combo with it. It is really, really cool. And if your stuff like this, now easily +6, and I get to jail into this, and if the opponent tries to mash at me, we'll trade or I'll just straight up beat them. Now our overdrive spin into the kick is now a little bit faster. It used to be 11 frames and now it's 10 frames. Which is why it can now connect after our backwards heavy punch. Unfortunately, that's still the only thing it can connect off of. I even tried seeing if you get any kind of cool counter confirms possibly with this, but no, nothing else that she uses will ever go into this, unfortunately. I tested quite a lot. It seems like just your back heavy punch is the one way you're meant to go into this. Now, her heavy rond-point, her quarter circle forward heavy kick, got an interesting change where it basically doesn't push back the opponent as far when it hits them in the air. So if we're in a situation like this, as you can see, they basically just get launched straight upwards, which in a combo situation is useful because then they're closer to get hit by whatever you're going for. And like we also saw with this, now they go launched straight up for a super, level 1 or level 2. But also if it happens to hit someone out of the air, now they kind of just get launched straight upwards. So it's easy to follow in if they're, high enough. Sometimes you can get a drive rush extension. You can get stuff like this, possibly more easily, just always, of course, depending on the height. Or you can... It's actually surprising how much it lets you go for. So if I get it and I can do it again and then go into level 2 or something, it just holds the opponent in juggles surprisingly usefully. The overdrive version also got some slight adjustments. Now the first hit does a little bit more of the damage. It does the same amount of damage, but like if you just get the first hit into a level 2 or something, that'll do a slight bit more damage. And also it has a teeny bit of extra horizontal distance, apparently. So perhaps there are more situations. Occasionally, Manon had like situations where the only way she could punish moves with a lot of pushback was to go for like the Odi rond-point and catch the opponent at certain distances. So maybe that is just slightly easier to do against certain things, perhaps. Or maybe it just doesn't drop in annoying situations. Her level 2 got some changes where basically it just does a little bit more damage and should finally be completely consistent. Just a bunch of hitbox stuff changes, which is cool because that's always very useful. And she's got a bunch of ways she can combo into it a bit more now. And her level 3, as we already mentioned, now does more damage the more medals you have. And I was right first, it only does about 100 extra damage per medal, and with a critical art it can do a maximum of 5,100 damage, and 4,600 without the critical art. So it is a lot of damage, but per medal it's only about 100 each. But hopefully that will help us end some games. And those are all of Manon's changes. Ultimately, they are not as overwhelmingly amazing as I thought they may be. They are certainly not like Aki's changes, who got so many different combo routes and like ways of dealing with zoning, and all parts of her game plan got buffed. Manon, in my opinion, is a little focused in how she got her buffs. She has buffs for when she already has advantage, so she has better combos when she's going for combos, and she has better pressure and strike throw when she's strike throwing, because she's got this plus on block normal, it leaves you close, you can get some better stuff off of Oki from it, but all of this is when she's already doing her thing, and she already did her thing decently. But one change that we all thought we would kind of get is the twirl being better at going through projectiles, or being useful in some way. But it didn't seem to receive any adjustments at all. And yeah, she does play neutral like pretty well with this nice big stand medium kick and these random flaily bits. But yeah, nothing to do with her neutral or defense or anything got much of a bust, apart from the universal changes where she can now wake up with a drive reversal. Yet to see how useful that actually is. But it's far too early to doom. We should be grateful about the buffs we got, but I'm just curious to see how much of a difference this actually makes for her. Like, she gets slightly better Oki, slightly better frames, and the combos are slightly better. But let me just show you like a comparison. So this is like a pre-patch basic BNB combo that we'd always be going for. And okay, if we include that it has the medal, does about 2,800 damage. And the new BNB, you have to get into this somehow. So either you're extending it off of this combo already and spending a lot of meter on it, or you're getting it from a specific scenario like a jump in or a drive impact, or you're having to use it as your punish counter, or also this. But it's a specific thing that you can only use in specific scenarios, and that one particularly adds a nice chunk of damage, but on its own, it's not adding that much extra damage to your combo routes. So yeah, I'm not sure. And you use the same Ender. It's good that she has more damaging ways of going into her medals as well. I'm not sure. Don't want to doom. I'm glad we both got the buffs, and I'm keen to see how she feels to play online now. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.